Have you ever felt like your company or organization is just stuck in incredibly choppy waters? Like you're struggling against these massive forces that are completely out of your control? Well, if so, you are definitely not alone. Today, in this explainer, we're unpacking a really fascinating framework by Haluk ÜNALDI. He uses this incredibly vivid, visceral maritime metaphor to explain corporate survival and governance during turbulent times. We're not going to sit here and look at dry financial charts, no way. Instead, we are going to break down the actual mechanics of crisis management through the high-stakes lens of steering a massive ship through literally one of the most treacherous waterways on the entire planet.
Okay, let's dive right into this. ÜNALDI makes this absolutely profound observation drawn straight from his own Navy days. He says, a vehicle that doesn't stop when you say stop, doesn't turn when you say turn. And you know, this isn't just some colorful catchphrase, it's a direct reflection of reality. Early in his career, he served on a distinguished ship and navigated the Bosphorus Strait several times. I want you to just think about the sheer momentum of a vessel like that. You are commanding thousands of tons of steel. When you yell out a command to halt or change course, there's this agonizing delay. The ship is totally at the mercy of its own inertia and the water around it. ÜNALDI notes he still carries this immense pride from safely managing such an uncontrollable force in a narrow, rushing waterway. That intense feeling of massive momentum and delayed control, that is exactly what we are going to apply to modern corporate leadership today.
Section 1. The Physical Challenge.
Now, to really grasp the weight of this metaphor, you've got to realize that the Bosphorus isn't just this glittering, picture-perfect tourist destination connecting two continents. Beneath that beautiful surface, you have a relentless combination of extreme physical hazards. First off, there are reverse and incredibly strong currents that will pull a vessel in totally unexpected directions. Add to that the heavy, perpendicular cross-traffic. We're talking ferries and smaller boats cutting right across your main navigation lane. Then you've got these sharp, blind turns in the strait itself, all while being battered by intense, unpredictable winds. Keeping a massive ship on course here isn't just about following a map. It requires immense, hard-earned knowledge, deep experience, and absolute skill.
So imagine for a second that you're standing on the bridge of this massive, heavy-tonnage ship. You're just entering the strait near the famous Maiden's Tower. You look out those heavy glass windows at the rushing water, the converging traffic, the tightening geographical bottleneck, and honestly, if you don't have the training, this overwhelming feeling just washes right over you. You look at the scene and think, there is no way. Passage through here is simply impossible. It is a uniquely paralyzing realization, but for a highly trained crew, it's a challenge they are fully prepared for.
Section 2. The Metaphorical Pivot.
And this brilliantly illustrates our main point today, because that sheer panic of looking out from the bridge of the ship at the Maiden's Tower, that is the exact same view corporate leaders have right now when they look at the global market. Think about the physical strait on one side, reverse currents, harsh winds, blind turns. Now look at today's economy on the other side. Those reverse currents, they're the sudden severe economic crises our markets face. The harsh winds, that's the global and regional political uncertainty that blows companies completely off course. When you mix economic crises with deep political unpredictability, the view from the corporate bridge becomes just as complex, just as chaotic, and just as seemingly impossible as steering a warship right into the Bosphorus.
Section 3. The Corporate Bridge. So, here's the million-dollar question. If the modern economy is the Bosphorus, who exactly is standing on the bridge of your company? Who's looking out the window, assessing the cross-traffic of competitors and bracing for those winds of political change? Well, on a naval warship navigating a tough passage, it doesn't matter which junior officer is on duty. The ship's commander is always on the bridge. They step in, they provide direction, and they take direct control when things get rough. In our corporate metaphor, the ultimate commanders, the ones whose will, wisdom, and strategic direction are absolutely required to carry the company safely into the future, are the board of directors. In a severe economic crisis, the board simply cannot be absent. They must be present on the bridge, actively providing the vital strategic oversight needed to navigate those dangerous currents.
But wait, a board doesn't just magically function flawlessly on its own, right? The chairman of the board actually has two active, non-negotiable responsibilities here. Number one, the chairman has to build an effective, knowledgeable board. You literally need people who understand the currents. And number two, the chairman must make them active in strategic decisions. It is the chairman's ultimate responsibility to assemble this command team and mobilize them so they can actually guide the corporate ship to a safe harbor. Because honestly, a brilliant board is completely useless if they aren't actively engaged in the navigation.
Section 4. The Ultimate Choice. You know, in any crisis, human nature tends to split into two very distinct behaviors. And in the corporate world, this split can literally mean the difference between life and death for a company. On one hand, you have the active leader. These are the board members making the critical, stressful decisions, feeling the wind, fighting the currents. Contrast that with the passive passenger. ÜNALDI points out that if you aren't on duty during a Bosphorus transit, leaning on the railing and watching those magnificent pearl-like palaces glide by is an absolute joy. I mean, it's mesmerizing. But in a corporate crisis, a board member cannot be a passive passenger. If they are just captivated by the view, lured into complacency by past successes, or the sheer spectacle of the market, the ship will quietly but inevitably drift right into the rocks.
So, the crucial point boils down to this fantastic quote. The captain saves the ship, but strong boards led by the chairman save companies. Sure, you might have an absolutely stellar CEO or managing director acting as your captain. But when the economic waters become as violently turbulent as the Bosphorus Strait, a lone captain just isn't going to cut it. It requires the collective will, the deep wisdom, and the active strategic intervention of a strong board of directors, all unified by a capable chairman, to truly save the organization and secure its future. Which leaves us with a really vital question to ponder as we wrap up today's explainer. I want you to look at your own organization. Look at the people in charge of steering your corporate vehicle through these unpredictable economic winds. Are they truly at the helm, hands firmly on the wheel, actively navigating the hazards? Or are they just leaning on the railing, distracted by the beautiful palaces, completely unaware of the rocks up ahead? Take that question with you today. And hey, I highly recommend using this Bosphorus metaphor the next time your team needs a reality check on their strategic focus. Thanks so much for joining me, and keep navigating safely out there.